Yeah.
Alright. Alright, hear me out. This is So Says Mr. Thunder. I'm Mr. Thunder. Today is Monday, December, what's the date? 18th, December 18th. This is the podcast So Says Mr. Thunder, and today I got a special guest. I can't wait for y'all to hear from this person, my favorite person, my person. You get to hear from Mrs. Thunder. Yes, she finally decided she was gonna jump on here. So anyways, without further introduction, let me just thank, those of you who are here. This is your first time. I appreciate it. Somehow you heard about it. You might have heard about it from Mrs. Thunder. I don't know, but if you did and you're a long time listener and you've been on this journey with me, you understand how much I appreciate you tuning in. So without further ado, do you want to introduce yourself, please, ma'am?
I sure will. My name is Nikki Thunder. What else you need to know about me? I am Mrs. Thunder.
Oh, okay. Whatever you want people to know about you. give your credentials.
So I am a nurse by profession of almost 22 years. I'm currently a nursing professor, teaching RN transition. Recently transitioned myself from being a nursing leader into academia. So,
okay, for those of us that don't know what that means, give me in layman's terms what that means.
Okay. So for the past probably about 16, 17 years, I've been in nursing leadership in the inpatient setting, nursing director, basically running an inpatient unit. I was on the leadership track for being like a CNO and recently decided that.
What's a CNO?
Chief Nursing Officer.
Okay. I didn't get that far.
Recently decided that was not the path I wanted to continue on. I thought my experience would be better utilized teaching our future nurses, so recently changed to academia. So that's what I do. I'm a nursing professor.
Okay. And you realized that when?
Now that may take a minute.
Okay.
I realized it when, honestly, I came to the conclusion that what it took to be successful in that role, my integrity will not allow me to do that.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. Nah, I've been with you on this journey, so I definitely understand that part. But now that I finally got you on here, and you've been listening to the podcast, I introduced it to you first, and you felt some kind of way about it, or you didn't feel some kind of way about it. But everybody go about it their own way. But now you listen to it, so now that you listen to it, do you get anything from it? Does it benefit you in any kind of way?
Oh, absolutely. We've talked about this, but it gives me a heightened sense of awareness about things that I may had a different perspective about, and I can understand others a little bit better, or understand different subject matters a little bit better based on the feedback that comes from others. So it just opens up my mind to different perspectives about different things.
Right. And that's cool. I mean, you know me, I like to pull that out of people. So that's, why I do it in the first place. But, you kind of were talking about, it gets you to understand, different perspectives and things like that, because that sounds like it's important, obviously, in what you do, right? So in that, there was a moment where you decided that people needed to have a different perspective or a better perspective on what it was like to be a good nurse.
Correct.
In the simplest terms, a good nurse, which I had no idea what a good nurse was, other than the ones that took care of me when I had injuries. And, I think the major surgery I ever had was my appendix being removed. But other than that, I was hurt, but not the work that's put into it and the things that go behind it. I'm used to maybe seeing CNAs all over the place.
Right.
Not really knowing what a nurse is. But anyways, for you, I respect the craft. So just kind of give me a little bit of why you got into nursing.
And I'm glad you said that about the perspective, because that's one of the main reasons I decided to shift gears in my career. I was on the receiving end of new graduate nurses or new nurses or some experienced nurses. And I'm very passionate about it. I take it very seriously. It's not a glamorous job or a glamorous profession. But unfortunately, what I've seen as far as healthcare and nursing in general is the quality of nurses that we were receiving weren't like they were back in the day when I first graduated 20 something years ago. And so I felt my skills and my experience would better be utilized giving back and preparing those nurses and really trying to instill in them some of the old thought processes and ways, and then taking basically what I've been doing for 20 something years and giving them that experience. Because unfortunately, a lot of nursing professors right now haven't been in the clinical setting in years. They don't know what's going on in the hospital. I do.
So this was the perfect time for you to shift.
This was the perfect time for me to shift because it's fresh. I know exactly what's happening, and I felt like that's what they needed from a professor or an instructor. I'm very hands-on, and so I still keep my skills up. I still work and do bedside nursing now, just to make sure that I'm practicing what I preach.
Right.
So
when was? Do you remember? I know you obviously had to think about it and process having to even consider making a change. So was there a moment or a situation that happened that you was like, you know what, I can't do this no more. I'm gonna just go ahead and do it.
There were two moments. The first one was I received a new graduate nurse that COVID changed a lot with healthcare. A lot of the nurses that were in school during the height of COVID did not get the experience that they needed to be successful nurses. They didn't get hands-on patient care. They weren't in the hospitals. They didn't learn empathy. They didn't learn bedside manner. They didn't see really what was going on in the hospital. And so I had a new graduate nurse that had one experience that was not positive at the bedside. She had a patient that passed away peacefully, a patient that was a do not resuscitate. I'm on a critical care unit. This is a normal thing. She couldn't handle it.
So she had never experienced
any trauma.
Okay.
And when that happened, she decided nursing was not for her.
Okay. Did she quit?
She quit.
Okay.
She completely left nursing.
The second one.
Yes.
What was the second one?
The second one was being a nurse leader. You're often asked to do things that benefit the economic part of the hospital and not the staff.
Gotcha. The business.
So it's the business part.
Okay.
And when I could no longer, in good faith, support the business aspect, I knew that was not the path that I wanted to keep going down. Again, it was my integrity.
Right.
And when I'm having to short staff and risk safety to patients, in order to meet a number, it was time for me to shift gears.
So now, fast forward, without getting into any details, anybody that wants to know about it will definitely find out some kind of way. now that you did it, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about it? Like this?
I absolutely love teaching.
Okay.
I love instructing. I like to see the light bulbs go off with the students. I like how they're very intrigued. I give a lot of real scenarios, like things that I've experienced for them to learn from.
So integrity.
They're very inquisitive, and so yeah, I like that.
So you keying in on the integrity.
Yes.
By teaching.
Yes.
So there's obviously other people that have been or are in your position, right, of making that change and are may be afraid of doing it. Correct. If you could tell them anything, you know, just anything to kind of just light the fire, what would it be?
I would tell them, just honestly, take a moment to see what you're passionate about. Actually, ask yourself, am I happy doing what I'm doing? Do I feel like I'm making a difference? Or am I making $1? All
right. So with that being said, you gave me 3 things, and you're a person who listens and reads things because you wanna have an understanding of the subject. What would the subject of that message be for you that other people need to hear when it comes to integrity?
Just what I said. Am I making a difference or making $1?
Oh, am I making a difference or making $1? That's see, I told you I was gonna get it out of you.
Yeah, you did.
Didn't go how you thought it was gonna go either.
It didn't.
That's the beauty in it. So look, I really do. I appreciate it. I know that this is gonna help somebody out there. And you know, hopefully, you know, as you go through this journey, as you learn things, you can learn, you know, how to share more of that with the world. And I definitely would love for you to come back and talk about some more things, and then also share the podcast with people and tell them how it's, you know, done different things for you.
And just to really reiterate on that, because I think a lot of times we make decisions about our careers, about certain things, just choices that we're basing it off of maybe economic factors and all of that, but you still have to look at yourself in the mirror every day. And so just make sure whatever decision you're making, it's beneficial to not only you, but to whoever you're serving to, especially if you're in the service industry. So, you know, that's very important.
Well, look, if anybody want to know more about it, give me the subject one more time.
Are you making a difference or making $1?
Are you making a difference or making $1? If you want to hear more about it, how do people get a hold of you? How do they reach out to you? If somebody wants to pick your brain about it, what would they do? They want to reach out on the podcast, they can do that. I mean, obviously, they know we connected, so it ain't going to be
just
no
ask
secret.
Mr. Thunder. Y'all can find me. Wherever he at, I'm not too far behind.
Right. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Well, look, hey, I appreciate you for coming. Hey, definitely made a difference. I didn't know it was going to come out, and I'm glad it finally did. So thank you for doing that. And
thank you for having me.
Yeah. So this has been another successful episode of So Says Mr. Thunder. I'm Mr. Thunder. I'm a Native American of this country, and there ain't a damn thing you can do about it. What's your outro?
I don't have one.
You don't have one? All right. Well, look, definitely we want to hear your feedback. If anybody wants to reach out to Mrs. Thunder about, you know, making that transition from bedside to the desk, or what do you call it, the podium? What do you stand behind when you give your presentation? Or no, lecture.
My lecture.
Yeah.
Yes.
Your desk, bedside, desk, and what is it called that you stand up on? What's that thing? The podium?
It's a podium.
Okay, the podium. Bedside to the podium. If you want to know, that's like what it takes to make that decision, or if it's something in your life where you feel like, you know what, am I making a difference or am I making $1? Go ahead.
Trust me, at the end of the day, you will be blessed.
There it is. That's what it's all about. That's what this podcast is all about. Definitely want to hear feedback again on Instagram. So says Mr. Thunder. On there's definitely a channel to connect with other people that have been on here, especially Mr. Thunder and those who have been on here before. Can be found on all podcasts. This one specifically, the platform is Spreaker, but I do like putting it on YouTube now. You know what I'm saying? So that's on YouTube. It'll be on Facebook, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and there's various other ones that I don't know. But anyways, I appreciate you for being on here today, and until next time, I'll holler. Peace.